Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's meeting of the Assembly Committee on Growth and Infrastructure. Would the committee secretary please call the roll?
Assemblymember Bacchus. Assemblymember Brown-May.
Here.
Carter.
Present.
Dickman.
Here.
Gallant.
Here.
Gurr.
Here.
Karras.
Here.
Moore.
Here.
Hwen.
Here.
Urick.
Here.
Chair Watts.
And I am here. Thank you. We do have a quorum. Please mark Assemblymember Bacchus present when she arrives. She is currently presenting a bill in another committee. Thank you for everyone joining us today here in Carson City, as well as anyone joining us in Las Vegas or remotely. A few quick housekeeping items before we get started. Please be sure to silence your electronic devices. If you're planning to provide testimony today, please sign in at the table in the back. Provide a business card if you have one to our committee staff. That helps make sure we have accurate minutes. When speaking, please turn on the microphone, state your name every time before you speak, and turn the microphone off once you've finished. If you'd like to provide public comment or testimony via telephone, you can call 888-475-4499, and when prompted for the meeting ID, enter 834-863-71103, and then press pound. You can find that information posted on our agendas, which are also on the Nevada Legislature's website. We will have one bill hearing today, as well as a work session on several bills. I will just make a note that we will not be conducting a work session on Senate Bill 291 today. And I intend for us to take our work session first, in case we have members that need to go present bills in the Senate. And after that, we will then conduct our hearing on Senate Bill 440. So with all of that, I will turn things over to our policy analyst, Ms. Latham, to walk us through our work session.
Thank you, Chair. For the record, Keely Latham, Policy Analyst with the Legislative Council Bureau. A reminder that as nonpartisan staff, I cannot advocate for or against any measure that this committee will consider. Senate Bill 181 provides for the issuance of special license plates indicating support for Nevada State University. The bill is sponsored by Senator Cruz Crawford and was heard on April 29th. Senate Bill 181 requires the DMV, in cooperation with Nevada State University or NSU, to design, prepare, and issue special license plates that indicate support for NSU. A certain portion of the fees generated from the issuance and renewal of the special license plates must be distributed equally between NSU to support athletic programs and the foundation to operate a program providing certain necessary items to NSU students, faculty, and staff. There were no amendments proposed for this measure. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any questions on Senate Bill 181? Seeing none, I would accept a motion to do pass.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion from Vice Chair Carter. I'll take the second from Assemblymember Moore. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. And I will sign that floor statement to Assemblymember Moore.
Thank you, Chair.
We'll move on to Senate Bill 290.
Keely Latham for the record. Senate Bill 290 revises provisions relating to regional transportation commissions. The bill was sponsored by the Senate Committee on Growth and Infrastructure and was heard on April 24th. Senate Bill 290 authorizes any designated security personnel employed by a regional transportation commission to remove from a vehicle or other property any person who engages in willful use of profane, offensive, or indecent language, engages in any quarrel or in any public conveyance, interferes with or annoys any passenger therein, or fails to leave any such conveyance upon demand after having refused to pay the proper fare. There were no amendments for this measure. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Seeing none, I'd accept a motion to do pass Senate Bill 290.
So moved.
I have a motion from Vice Chair Carter, a second from Assemblymember Dickman. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion carries. I'll assign that floor statement to Assemblymember Karras. We'll now move on to Senate Bill 315.
Keely Latham, for the record, Senate Bill 315 authorizes the Department of Transportation to enter into a progressive design build contract for a certain project. The bill was sponsored by Senator Daley and heard on May 1st. Senate Bill 315 authorizes NDOT to enter into one or more progressive design build contracts for improvements to Interstate 80 East between Vista Boulevard and Sparks and USA Parkway in Story County. The bill establishes procedures for solicitation, evaluation, and negotiation for the project, requires applicants to demonstrate appropriate qualifications, establish insurability, and meet certain licensing requirements, and establishes certain requirements for contracts entered into between NDOT and a progressive design build team. The bill also provides for the confidentiality of certain submissions and proprietary information, and authorizes the department to employ a licensed architect or engineer as a consultant to assist with oversight. No amendments. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Seeing none, I would accept a motion to do pass Senate Bill
So moved.
315. I've got a motion from Vice Chair Carter. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Assemblymember Dickman. Any discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. And Assemblymember Dickman, would you like that floor statement?
Thank you.
We'll move on to Senate Bill 320 now.
Keely Latham, for the record, Senate Bill 320 revises provisions relating to crosswalks. The bill was sponsored by Senator Scheibel and was heard in this committee on April 29th. Senate Bill 320 extends the prohibition of stopping, standing, or parking within 20 feet of a crosswalk to both marked and unmarked crosswalks. The bill authorizes local governments to adopt ordinances that establish different distances within their jurisdictions if needed for safety, and if such distances are greater than the minimum distances set by the bill, provided official traffic control devices are posted to indicate the distance. Any violation through December 31st, 2026 may only be enforced in circumstances where notice of the applicable distance was provided through an official traffic control device and where such enforcement is limited to the issuance of a warning. Thereafter, law enforcement officers may take enforcement actions for such violations regardless of whether notice of the prohibition was provided. There were no amendments proposed for this measure. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any questions? Seeing none, I would accept a motion to do pass Senate Bill 320.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Vice Chair Carter, a second from Assemblymember Brown May. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. And I will assign that floor statement to Assemblymember Nguyen.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And finally, we'll go on to Senate Bill 321.
Keely Latham, for the record, Senate Bill 321 revises provisions relating to public utilities. This bill is sponsored by Senator Nguyen and was heard on April 24th. Senate Bill 321 revises the maximum state civil penalties that can be assessed for violations of natural gas pipeline safety regulations adopted by the PUCN by aligning such penalties with the corresponding penalties set at the federal level, which adjusts annually for inflation. Additionally, the bill eliminates provisions allowing penalties to be deducted from amounts owed by the state to violators. No amendments proposed for this measure. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Members, any questions on this item? Seeing none, I would accept a motion to do pass Senate Bill 321.
So moved.
I have a motion from Vice Chair Carter. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, I'll take a second from Assemblymember Karas. Any discussion on that motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. I'll assign that floor statement to Assemblymember Brown May.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. That concludes our work session for today. So we will now move on to our bill hearing. And with that, I will open up the hearing on Senate Bill 440, which revises provisions relating to electricity. Welcome the presenters to the table. Take your time getting settled. As soon as you're ready, please remember to introduce yourselves for the record, and you may begin.
Good afternoon, Edith Duarte, DUA-RTE with Western Public Affairs, today representing the Nevada Solar Association. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Vice Chairman, for hearing this bill, members of the committee. This is a consumer protection bill. There's a lot of work that's gone into it. We've worked with stakeholders on the Senate side. We've worked with the AG's office, Bureau of Consumer Protection, with the HOAs, and with the utility. This is a companion bill to SB 379 that deals primarily in the lending space. This bill deals with installers, HOAs, homeowners, and utilities, and it's a accountability and transparency part of the two bills this session. If it's okay with you, Mr. Chairman, I'm going to have Steve Hamili present the bill, go over the components of the bill, and then I also do have Dallas Harris, who's been the longtime attorney for the association, to answer some technical questions. There's also a video that will play when we get to that point in Steve's presentation.
Good morning, Chair Watts and members of the committee. Stephen Hamili, Hamile, Chair of the Nevada Solar Association. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present today. Nevada's made a name for itself as a national leader in renewable and clean energy, with one of the most ambitious renewable energy goals in the country. We've seen tremendous growth in solar adoption, and along with it, tremendous job creation. Thousands of Nevadans now are employed in the solar installation, engineering, and manufacturing. These are well-paying, future-forward jobs, supporting families and building communities. But with that growth comes responsibility. Every week in the Nevada Solar Association, we hear from homeowners who've been misled or outright taken advantage of during the solar sales process. And while the stories vary, the damage is real, both to individuals and to our industry. Sometimes it's an out-of-state company pretending to be local. Sometimes a sales rep dresses up like a utility worker in a yellow vest to build false credibility. And too often, consumers are misled with promises like, the state will pay for your system, or you can walk away at any time. I'm about to play a video here, and they say that a picture, speaks 1,000 words. There's something called SolarCon that occurs every year, and it's where they recruit door-to-door salespeople in the solar industry. It's generally in Utah or in Miami. Unfortunately, it was right here in Southern Nevada and Las Vegas this year. When you see the tactics that are employed, you'll understand why our industry has ended up in such disarray. Please.
For the year, I will personally guarantee you 6 figures a year. At minimum. You don't even absolutely have to have the skill set. As long as you literally just go out and put in the hours, the deals will come. You want to put in the work to master your craft? It's a high 7 figures. This is my door-to-door manager right here. He'll put you on the streets and show you the rounds. Yeah, we're in 26 states. Yep. Our other primary headquarters would be California, Southern California, Massachusetts, Florida, and Texas. But there's plenty of opportunity if you're anywhere else in the country that you could come in, train with the team.
Run a sales organization that's based in multiple states in the United States. Let's use Nevada, for example. The door rep who is setting the appointment, they're actually a 1099 of the marketing company. In other markets, it's all 1099.
So as you can see, in prior sessions, Senate Bill 293 outlawed the use of independent contractors for door-to-door sales, and yet they flag it in our face. These bad actors don't just harm consumers, they hurt every honest solar company that's working hard to do the right thing. And they jeopardize our state's clean energy process and by turning people off from solar altogether. This is where Senate Bill 440 comes in. It builds on the progress of 293 from prior session and other consumer protection measures by creating clear standards of accountability and transparency across the entire solar transaction. I'd like to walk you through a few of those key provisions. For the installer, Senate Bill 440 ensures installers clearly disclose whether they are a local company. A local company is defined as having a physical office and a registered vehicle in the state of Nevada, along with proper licensure. This helps consumers make informed decisions and encourages economic investment in our state. Installers must also provide make and model numbers of equipment, not just generic descriptions, so that consumers know exactly what's being installed. This cuts down on bait and switch tactics that some companies have used to swap promised products for cheaper alternatives. And finally, all sales presentations must be done by a direct employee of an installer and not an unlicensed commission-based third party. The installer must certify that all sales practices and installations comply with local, state, and federal laws. The Homeowners Association. Current state law prohibits an HOA from, quote, unreasonably restricting the installation of solar, but it's never defined what unreasonable means. We've worked with our stakeholders to eliminate this vagueness that has resulted in conflict or inaction. SB 440 changes that. It requires HOAs to adopt clear, concise, written solar installation guidelines. If a homeowner follows these guidelines, the HOA must follow the installation, balancing aesthetic standards with clean energy access. This cooperation helps to eliminate rogue installations while empowering communities to go solar in a thoughtful and uniform way. The homeowner. 440 also assigns responsibility to the homeowner, asking them to disclose any modifications that may have occurred pre-installation of the solar system, such as prior electrical work or unpermitted structures. Homeowners must also commit to providing timely documentation and support to complete the project. This ensures safety, code compliance, and smoother operation. Finally, the utility plays a vital role in completing the solar installation. SB 440 asks utilities to make their best efforts to expedite the interconnection process, including permission to operate, temporary disconnections and reconnections. This provision is about efficiency, getting homeowners the benefits of solar faster without unnecessary delays. Think of 440 as the blueprint for responsible solar adoption in Nevada. It's about not creating more bureaucracy. It's about streamlining the process, protecting consumers, and supporting businesses that do the right thing. Nevada should be leading the nation's solar adoption, not just installations per capita, but in consumers' trust and industry integrity. This bill helps us get there. To be clear, most solar companies operating in Nevada are doing the right thing. They are locally owned, deeply invested in their communities, and committed to helping Nevadans save money while helping our state meet its climate and energy goals. SB 440 protects their reputation and helps to uplift the industry. Thank you very much. I encourage you to support our bill. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for your presentation. We appreciate it. We'll now open it up to members for questions. Assemblymember Gallant.
Thank you, Chair. I appreciate what you're trying to do in this bill. However, I do have issues with section 13.7. Already right now, it states in the law that an HOA cannot deny a homeowner to be able to put solar on their roofs, and that they can provide stipulations on exactly what the homeowner needs to do, and they might have to provide an ARC, but it lists out. I mean, I went through this multiple years ago, okay? In this section, it's asking or requiring that the unit owner submit like plans and structural analysis and all of those things to the HOA. The people on the board are volunteers. They're not structural engineers. They don't have like training in license and permitting or building for the most part. Maybe there's one or two. And you have to do all of that for the permit. So it feels duplicative. Is there a reason that it's just not required to submit the permit that's approved by the city, rather than asking the homeowner to jump through 1,000 different hoops with a board that could be very difficult?
Stephen Hamili for the record. Thank you, Assemblywoman. The intention of this provision is for the solar installer to provide all of these as part of their documentation and package for the ARC submission. So what we're trying to encourage is that there will be no third-party independent contractor sales organizations that in the past have actually gone to these HOA communities, sold these jobs, and then had them installed by an unlicensed third party. So it's not really incumbent upon the homeowner to aggregate this information. It's part of the solar installation submission.
Follow-up? Is the HOA really educated or experienced enough to be able to vet the solar companies?
Stephen Hamili for the record. For the most part, probably not. However, if this submission is intended to just be licensure, so they will have the contractor's license, the bonding, which should be in place to protect the homeowners association, as well as the safety plan. All of these are required for submission to the AHJ, as well as to NV Energy for the interconnection agreement. So all of these are standard documents, but what we're suggesting is that we're trying to make certain that the HOA is fully protected in the submission of these documents.
Sorry, is it okay? Sorry, but these are people's private homes. The HOA is not responsible or have any liability over somebody's private home.
Stephen Hamili for the record. No, we understand that, again, this provision is to make certain that we have licensed individuals that are entering into the HOA property. And what we're suggesting is that under the guidelines or the solar installation guidelines that are to be adopted by each HOA, that they require that the solar installer meets these requirements. Maybe I'm at a loss and perhaps I'm not answering your question properly. If you could.
Actually,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. I think it would be great if you could take this conversation offline, just to go into a little bit more detail on your reading of the provisions in the bill and your intent, and hopefully reach some understanding, and if anything comes out of it, please bring that back to the rest of the committee.
Really quick to Edith Duarte, there is an amendment. We've been working with Garrett Gordon with some of the HOAs and in support of the amendment. They submitted a friendly amendment on the Senate side. Drafting, there was an issue, so we've amended it into the bill on this side too.
Great, thank you. So yeah, please make sure that you follow up offline. Members, additional questions? All right, seeing none. Thank you very much for the presentation. I was glad to give follow-ups, but I think that needs some additional time. So we'll now move to testimony. We'll begin with testimony in support of Senate Bill 440. Anyone wishing to provide testimony in support, either in Carson City or Las Vegas, please come forward.
Hello, Chair Watson, members of the committee. My name is Tristan St. Dennis, and I am the Policy Associate with the Nevada Conservation League. We believe that rooftop solar is one of Nevada's best tools to lower energy bills, reduce pollution, and tap into one of our most abundant natural resources, the sunshine. As the top state for solar potential, more and more Nevadans are going solar. This bill will help ensure homeowners and HOAs aren't blocked from reaping the financial and environmental benefits of solar power and takes important steps to protect solar customers. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Riley Cate, Rileycate, and I'm here on behalf of Sagebrush Energy, a Nevada-based or Northern Nevada-based solar installation company and proud Nevada Solar Association member. I'm a third-generation Nevadan, and I've spent the past decade working in senior leadership roles, helping to build and scale some of the largest national storage and solar companies in the United States. Along the way, I've seen a lot of what works and much more of what doesn't. And truthfully, some of the worst practices that I've witnessed in this industry have come from companies that are perceived as industry leaders that are often pumping out the most volume and meeting with the most homeowners and most consumers. That experience has shown me just how critical it is to have clear, fair rules that protect homeowners and reward companies that are doing things the right way. SB 440 does exactly that. It gives Nevada families more transparency, better consumer protections, and a clearer path to going solar, especially in HOA communities where unnecessary barriers have held people back historically. It doesn't restrict access. It ensures that homeowners and Nevada residents are getting the right kind of access and the right kind of care for their solar projects on their most beloved assets. We're proud to support this bill and urge you to move it forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Not seeing anyone else coming forward in Carson City at this time. Not seeing anyone in Las Vegas. AVH, can we see if anyone would like to provide testimony in support of Senate Bill 440 by phone?
Testify in support for Senate Bill 440. Please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Chair, the lines are open and working. We have no callers choosing to testify in support.
Thank you. We'll now move to testimony in opposition of Senate Bill 440. Anyone wishing to provide opposition testimony, please come forward. Seeing no one, AVH, can we please check the phones?
To testify in opposition to Senate Bill 440, please press star 9 to take your place in the queue. Caller with the last three digits 910, please press *6 to unmute yourself.
My apologies. This is Crystal Hosmer with Robco Electric and the Nevada Solar Association Vice President. I am testifying in support of SB 440. We worked really hard to provide as many protections as we could on this bill with a lot of stakeholders to make going solar in Nevada a better experience for all. Thank you.
Thank you. And can you spell your last name for us, please?
Hosmer.
Thank you so much, and we will classify your testimony as support. AVH, next caller, please.
Here, we have no more callers choosing to testify in opposition at this time.
Thank you. We'll now move to testimony in the neutral position on Senate Bill 440. Anyone wishing to provide neutral testimony, please come forward. Mr. Sever? Nope. Always worth checking. Thought he might have just lost track of the hearing, so. Seeing no one in Carson City or Las Vegas, AVH, would anyone like to provide neutral testimony on Senate Bill 440 by phone?
Chair, we have no callers for neutral.
All right, would the presenters like to make any closing comments? All right, waived, thank you, appreciate that. With that, we will close the hearing on Senate Bill 440. We will now move on to the last item on our agenda, which is public comment. Anyone wishing to provide public comment here in Carson City or down in Las Vegas, please come forward. Seeing no one coming forward at this time, AVH, would anyone like to provide public comment by phone?
Chair, the lines are open and working. We have no callers for public comment.
All right, well, brisk work. That concludes our meeting for today. Again, under half an hour. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, May 15th. We are adjourned.